So, I mean, I think for John McCain, though, who has the heaviest burden here, since he voted for all the deregulation, for him to now say he would be the toughest re-regulator is kind of a hard thing to swallow.
And he's a Republican, and whenever Republicans get into this kind of mess, everybody, even people who were not born or close to being born, the specter of Herbert Hoover comes out to haunt them.
I suppose the McCain campaign's hope is that when there's a big crisis, people will go for age and experience. The question is, who in this crisis looked more presidential, calm and unflustered? It wasn't John McCain, who, as usual, substituting vehemence for coherence, said, let's fire somebody. And he picked one of the most experienced and conservative people in the administration, Chris Cox, and for no apparent reason, or at least none that he vouchsafed, he said, fire Chris Cox at the SEC. It was unpresidential behavior by a presidential aspirant.
Well, that was 2 days after he said that the fundamentals of the economy were strong. I mean, his talking points have gotten all mixed up. And I think the question of age is back on the table.
Well, but I do think, I mean, you do, the question is, do people trust more Obama on the economy, which they say they do, or McCain to handle a crisis, which they say they do? I mean,
and that's why it's close on this issue.
On our last ABC poll, he was up by 17 points, McCain was, on the question of which candidate do you trust more to
Except
handle
that you've got to wonder,
crisis.
though, did the events of this week call that into question? Because I think Sam isolated the moment. That moment on Monday, Donna, where John McCain said the fundamentals of the economy are strong, he said it 16 times before. The Obama team clearly saw it as a breakthrough moment in the campaign, and the McCain team was reeling for the rest of the day, recovered by the end of the week.
And, you know, John McCain is just unsure of his voice on the economy. He outsources so long to others that now that he must talk to the American people in a coherent fashion, he's just, he doesn't get it. And, you know, what's amazing is that after calling for the firing of Chris Cox, he criticized Wall Street, and, you know, and then he called himself, you know, a champion of regulation when he's one of the people that allow the cops to sort of get off the beat and regulate in these industries. So I think McCain has to find his voice. Meanwhile, Obama did wait. He waited until the president, waited until Secretary Paulson before he went out there and reassured voters that with his economic team, of course, architects of the Clinton administration, and he tried to reassure voters that he will have a plan in place soon.
McCain has found his inner voice. It is his inner William Jennings Bryan. He's a populist. Now, the problem is, if you're running as a man who is above all else a leader, populism is always pandering, and pandering is always the reverse of leadership.
Well, I don't know that he'll do the cross of gold, as William Jennings Bryan wanted to say we were being slaved by. But I do agree that when I say age, I don't know the difference between finding your talking points and not delivering the right ones. We've seen him do this frequently, but this last week was the worst. Between 2 stops in Florida, as you say, he'd had to revise his thinking about what he wanted to say about the economy. Wanted to feel the pain suddenly rather than say everything's really all right.
Isn't this question of the advisors, even though the ads are ridiculous, the advisors, it is a really stark contrast. I mean, the Obama advisors, with looking at Bob Rubin and Warren Buffett and Paul Volcker in there, you know, you do feel a sense of security there.
And Obama clearly sensed that, and that's why he had the meeting basically happen in public. And I think he's also helped George simply by the fact that the race gets back to fundamental issues. The economy, the course of the country. When it was on personalities coming out of the Republican convention, Sarah Palin, he was hurting. When the race shifts, he does better.
As we said last week, every day spent talking about Sarah Palin or anything but the economy is a win for McCain.
Yes, but the McCain ads are going to continue to try to make the race something about personality and something about fear from the standpoint of, can you really trust this guy, Senator Obama? They are not, as far as I can see so far, going to return to a question of the issues, and let's discuss it.
John McCain showed his personality this week and made some of us fearful.